Well, this is an absolute pleasure. One of the greatest place kickers in the history of the National Football League, Nick Lowery.
Thank you.
Once kicked for the Pats and the Chiefs.
That's right.
What do you go through as a place kicker when you get iced?
Well, as I told you before, good kickers, it actually can help because your whole job is not just to kick, it's to control your thoughts and put yourself in the right place. So for good kickers, it helps. For bad kickers, it hurts. And what I notice is kickers will stand in the middle of the field. But what I would do is run to the sidelines and stay with my routine and come back out. The second thing is if you get self-conscious, and this is true for everybody really, when you've got that big thing to do, is when you're self-conscious, the big muscle groups are controlled by the brain. When you are relaxed, you have the dexterity, the kinesthetic subtlety, which is what generates the speed to snap a whip. It generates a 130-mile-an-hour serve with a skinny tennis player. And why can't that 600 bench press offensive linemen do that? Because they have major muscle groups, which helps them with what they're doing with that motion. But for the subtle motions that require great speed, running, hitting a baseball, golf, and kicking, the more relaxed you are and less conscious, the more you attack the ball, the better.
Gostkowski versus Zerline. How do you size them up?
Very simply, you've got a guy who's played in 9 consecutive AFC Championship games. He's played in I don't know how many Super Bowls. And that really does count for a lot because you stop thinking about the historic, I may never be back here again. The Chiefs were one 4-inch offside penalty away from being in their first Super Bowl in 50 years. So when you haven't had that experience, it doesn't help. But Zerline has the experience of nailing a 48-yarder and a 57-yarder, which could have gone 65 yards to win the game. So I don't think in the dome of Atlanta that's going to be that big an issue.
What's interesting to me now is life after football for you. You've taken this interesting mission upon yourself, CTE and CBD.
Yes.
Explain what you're trying to get out there for players that are struggling with issues that involve brain function and so many other side issues that go with that.
Well, Stanford University in 2017 and 2014, the Salk Institute in 2014, UCLA Torrance, all of these studies that are confirming every single time that there are cannabinoid receptors in the body, CB1 receptors for the neural system and CB2 receptors for the immune system. And then also the impact of CBDs in terms of what's called neuroplasticity. There's actually a government patent, 6630507, by Nobel Prize winner Dr. Julius Axelrod, that is called CBDs as neuroprotectants. That's the U.S. government. So it's been there for many years. What we're finding is that it's possible, because of this, to generate new neurons. It's possible to reverse, to some degree, dementia and Alzheimer's. And we've done the animal testing with Kannalife Sciences. We want to get to the human testing so we can have what we call an intercellular helmet. Because in the movie Concussion with Dr. Benedict Amalu, he shakes this walnut in a jar filled with water and said, unfortunately, we can't put a helmet inside the brain. And actually, UCLA Torrance said, if you have CBD in your system, your neurons are 5 times less likely to be killed, if you will, or damaged by a traumatic brain injury. It's 5 times less likely to die from a traumatic brain injury if you have this. So we just have to get through this. The president signed a bill just less than a month ago, the Farm Bill, which will allow hemp to be disengaged as a Schedule I drug. So now we're just fighting the war of science. Good, solid science, more and more science proving this works, and we have to get away from opioids, away from things that killed Mike Webster and Junior Seau, and focus on what works.
You've run into retired players. What kind of issues and why are they so hesitant to get help?
You know what? More and more players, it's amazing, Jude. In the last year and a half, I've seen guys go from healthy skepticism to let's have some of this. So we believe that we're really actually winning the battle now in a serious way. Former players absolutely get it. They notice that their brains relax. They sleep better. Derek Kennard has been taking CBDs now for a few months. Our friend who played for the Cardinals, and he had anxiety issues and sleep issues. He's feeling so much better. And it's just not anecdotal. It's overwhelming evidence. So what we're seeing is, just like probably the president and politicians see in their own families and friends, people that were told there was no hope and now suddenly there is because of CBDs in their system. And I'm talking about non-hemp, pharmaceutically developed CBDs, and also non-marijuana nothing to do with marijuana, it's still incredibly effective. When they see this in their own lives and somebody's told they have autism, they're told they have diabetes or neuropathy or any number of other conditions like cancer, and they see something reversed, you can never, ever ignore that again.
One of the very best to ever play the game, place kicker, still the leading scorer in Chiefs history, by the way, Nick Lowery, with his insight not only on the Super Bowl, but what's next when it comes to CTE.
Thanks, Jude.